Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get airborne. It's 1 o'clock on these on the east coast of these United States of America. It just started pouring rain down here in South Florida, but I guess I can't complain since a lot of you up in the northeast are about to get hammered with a nor'easter. Love what's going on in the market today. Steve, yeah, welcome aboard. So Steve, TGO member from a couple years ago, from Capel, Texas. So welcome aboard, Steve. You did get your annual full throttle max slot. So welcome back, my friend. But everybody remember this. If you're not a Star Trek fan, maybe you don't remember this. But who was the guy from Fantasy Island? Ricardo Montalban, right? He was Khan, and that's Captain James T. Kirk screaming Khan. So that's funny. We're going to talk about everything that's going on in the market today. We had a great session last night for our full throttle members. So last night we wrapped up for our 50 new members that joined us in January. Last night was our last session, session number 8. We did long call diagonals and synthetic stock, and it was a very, very good session. We took a look at what Raytheon and MGM had a great session last night. And as we were in that session, the breaking news that Gary Cohn is resigning. Really don't care. We're going to cover all that stuff here in a little bit, but let me just, that slide's wrong because Steve just grabbed his, former TGO member coming back into the squadron for the camaraderie, for the trades, for all the good stuff. So there are 33 slots remaining, folks. And this is, in the past, I usually open up the slots tonight. In the past, we usually do it on Wednesday night, and we get full by Friday. So I'm telling you, folks, if you're, we're going to get airborne here on Friday, and I think we're going to have all 50 annuals filled. We won't even have any room for any folks who want to do the month-to-month, and that's just kind of what we do here. Tamara, well, so I had my wires crossed because tonight, guys, we're not going to, let me press forward and then we'll talk about Tamara. Because real quick, if you didn't attend yesterday or you haven't had a chance to watch the replays and any of that stuff, we opened up the slots. It was comical because Monday night after I got done, I guess a couple people who had the link from the January, they were number 51 and 52, right? They didn't get slots in January. They actually bought Monday night. So I decided to open it up yesterday. So we'll talk about the flight schedule here in a couple minutes. Does this start at 1 or am I late? It starts right at 1 o'clock, folks. I start to the second. Naval Observatory, the atomic clock. So we have a couple tracks here at Top Gun Options. If you're aggressive, you want to trade those weekly options, here's a perfect Obama teachable moment, folks. We closed Amazon in one day for a $1,500 gain. If you were in Amazon right now, did everybody listen to me when I said you don't want to turn a 75% winning trade into a 100% losing trade? Okay, so thank God, right? Not thank God. Well, we got out of Amazon and our VXX trades on Monday and Tuesday, and we made $3,100. And now look at those trades, folks. So this is what I'm going to teach you when we're looking. Is the bull put spread still working, Kathy, on Amazon? I don't know. I haven't looked at Amazon yet. If you didn't get out of it, you're probably getting your teeth kicked in, right? So that's why we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. We'll look at Amazon. Let me finish my intro here, guys. And obviously, if you're a conservative trader, you're going to love accelerated retirement today. We're going to hopefully take a look at a long-term bullish position on JP Morgan, but we have a lot of tactical stuff to brief as well. And obviously, if you want to do kind of trade weekly options and also do accelerated retirement and the primary live trade brief and get access to everything we do here at TGO, we have a track for you as well. So, yeah, exactly. And folks, that's why we trade Amazon in weeklies. Amazon is down about $6 or something last time I looked. So that bull put spread is still looking fine. I'm just saying I wouldn't be enjoying it as much as just making $1,500 in a day. So here's what we do here at Top Gun Options. We do weekly options on Monday at 1. We did the PLTB yesterday at 1. We're doing accelerated retirement today at 1, and then tomorrow we're going to do analyze your trade and debrief. So that's the normal flow here at Top Gun Options. So right now you are in this one, and we're going to get started here in a couple minutes. And we have a lot to cover with existing positions. So we have the offensive track, and you need to head to go.topgunoptions.com/getft. You're going to be that Navy F-18 pilot shooting down this Air Force dude right there. Or you can do the defensive track, which is everything we do plus accelerated retirement, and you just don't do the weekly options because they're a little bit more, they ain't for the faint of heart, right? So this is kind of you and your E2 Hawkeye. And then obviously, as I covered yesterday, 85% of the members here at TGO elect for the Max Afterburner because that's everything we do here at Top Gun Options. So you get access to everything. I mean, you can move in between these folks, no problem, but it might just be easier to start with the Max Afterburner there, just like that Tomcat sitting on the catapult in full thrust. Look at that. This is absolutely good stuff. As I covered yesterday, 80%. Last time 2 years ago, I should probably do a new user survey, but I guarantee you it's the same. About 80% of our members work. Okay, they don't attend the sessions live, so we send out text alerts, folks. Or as you saw, I sent out the email yesterday with the screenshot of the trades and the replay of the live trading session. So you don't necessarily need to be here in order to see all this. Okay, so it's awesome. So good stuff. Let's get on to the next here. And like I showed you yesterday, we have some members who never even see me live, right? This guy's been a subscriber for 3 years, and that was like the first session he was able to watch me live. So don't worry about missing any of the sessions or anything like that because it is recorded. Everything's recorded and sent out. You're going to get access to the 8 training sessions that we do. That's on the page right here. And obviously, this really is an offer you can't refuse. You get all your manuals, your primary, intermediate, advanced, and also the options pocket checklists. These are obviously electronic. You get to download them. You can put them on your iPad or anything like that. So now it's time to get airborne, folks. I really can't stand the kind of selling aspect of this. I'd rather leave that to somebody else, but the somebody else is me. So there's the page, folks. Go.topgunoptions.com/getft. And then my phone somebody else just grabbed a slot. We will be full by Friday, folks. But as I said, even if we get all 50 slots full before Friday, we'll still do everything that's on the flight schedule because I promised. So, yeah, Harry, well, we talked about it last night. So real quick, if this is your first session, here's the replay page. So here's what we did yesterday. We talked about our Amazon and VXX spreads. Also, it was a great call getting out of VXX in 3 hours. 3 hours on Monday, right? So look at volatility right now. It's spiking. I'd sell into this pop. So I'm torn between putting on a volatility trade, getting bearish, and getting long on JP Morgan. So let me get moving. And we cannot go late today. So if I blow off some of your questions, remember, that's why we only take 50 people because tonight I got to get my speech ready for tonight. So I'm doing this down over at the United Way of Broward County for veterans. So I'm going to be giving a speech. It's called Next Gen United. So it's for veterans that are transitioning. So I'm going to give a free keynote. I got a couple cases of books I got to sign. So we're going to be really moving here. And again, if this were a normal member session, I'd be answering everybody's questions, everything like that. But we're gonna be busy today. So that's the replay. Oh, I don't think I put it in there. That's the replay page. So we talked about yesterday, and there's the welcome aboard brief from Monday night. All these 2 big blue buttons on the page, you can just click right here, and it'll take you to get your slots. So everything's out there, guys, for you to grab your slots. So now let's get to trading. Let me put the replay page in here just so you have it. Okay, so all the links are in that chat box. And one more thing, folks. Everybody did everybody get my sit rep? I do a daily, I call it a sit rep, market situation report. So every day I do a 10 to 15 minute video, and it gets automatically pushed to you if you're on this list. So if you're not, you didn't get it today or all week. So do me a favor, just put your name and email address in there. Do this now, because even if you don't become a member, just ask me. It's good market commentary. It's free. I do a daily video. So Kathy, everybody go here right now. Kathy, I can't enter your name and email. You need to do that. So put Kathy and then your email address you just put in there. So go here. Everybody do this right now. I'm going to take a 30-second break so everybody signs up for the sit rep because it's awesome daily content. Virginia from Montpelier. So Virginia, welcome aboard. That's a Full Throttle Max. My son is actually going to be going to a Norwich University up in Vermont. He's going to be in the Corps Cadets. So welcome aboard, Virginia. It is good to have you. So everybody go and make sure you are signed up for the sit rep on this page, or you're not going to get it. Okay, it's good information. Peter, I just said this to Kathy and Peter, guys, and everybody who's typing their names in the chat box, stop. Listen to me, folks. Listen. If you want to get the daily sit rep, you need to go to this page. I just put the link in the chat box. You need to enter your name, and you need to enter your email. There's like 50 people putting their name in their emails in this chat box. Stop. This is where you need. Please open the chat box and click on that link. Does everybody understand that? There's about 50 people that. One more time. Here it is. I put the link in the chat box. Go to topgunoptions.com/sitrep. Put your name and your email, and you will get it going forward. No worries, guys. It's just comical. Again, this is why we keep our squadron very, very tight here. And you can see today's sit rep it's posted on our member page right here. So there it is right there. But so sign up right now. You'll get it's free, and you'll be good to go. You'll get it every day going forward. So, all right. Guys, now my members are putting their name and their emails in there just to yank my chain here. So look at this, folks. The 50 Full Throttle members that started in January, we did our last session last night. So look at this. So Tamara, that's why we did do a session last night. You should have got an email about it. But last night I did a Full Throttle session number 8. Like I said, when you become a member, you get access to 8 live briefs. I think we did like an hour and a half last night. This was awesome. So during the brief last night, it was breaking news that Gary Kahn resigns. If you don't know who Gary Kahn is, good for you. Okay, it's comical. All right. So we'll get to Gary Kahn in a second. Let me get strategic and operational, and then we'll get tactical. How about this? Again, I love how the liberal media it doesn't know if they're coming or going, right? Oh my God, Trump threatened to rain fire and fury down on North Korea. The guy's a madman. He's worse than Kim Il-sung. And now yesterday, North Korea has told South Korea, you know what? We could maybe get rid of our nukes if our regime safety is guaranteed. This guy ain't an idiot, folks. Think about this. He's seen Saddam Hussein at the end of a noose break his neck. He's seen what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. He knows what. Does anybody ever? Well, don't. If you haven't seen what happened to Muammar Gaddafi and the video of what happens to him, don't Google it and don't watch the video. Let's just say it's not pleasant, okay? So for all the liberals out there who rip Trump apart for his fire and fury rhetoric, it appears to be working, as opposed to all the clowns in front of him like Obama, the Bushes, Clinton, who threw money at North Korea and nuclear reactors. It's stupid. So this takes a little bit of volatility off the table, because remember last year, ladies and gentlemen, we had a couple days where North Korea would cause this markets to swing all over the place. Okay, so it's just, that's exactly right. Whoever typed that as it flew by, that's the language they understand. If you've never been to the Middle East, don't lecture me about the Arab mentality. The Arab mentality is when you say, hey, let's negotiate and sit in a room, you already lost in their mind. These people in their full Arab gear wear what? They have a scimitar? What? They wear knives, folks. It's comical. So the language the dictators understand is that type of language. Okay, so all right, let's move on. U.S. stocks fall as Gary Kahn's exits add to trade concerns. I don't care. Does anybody know who Gary? Somebody tell me. And my members who were in there in our session last night, tell me, what is Gary Cohn, a Republican or a Democrat? Answers now. You got it. He is a limousine liberal from who? Goldman Sachs. He lives in some really nice suburb in North Jersey. He is a Goldman Sachs limousine liberal. He is a registered Democrat. He voted for who? Who did he support a couple elections ago? Hillary Rodham Clinton. Thank you, guys. Good. We got some smart people in here. So this guy, and I'm not going to type out the whole word, actually, he's a globalist. Trump is a little bit what? And it's not to sound like a Nazi, he's a nationalist, right? God forbid we put men and women in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Steubenville, Ohio, or a coal miner in West Virginia's needs above somebody from Sweden. God forbid. America first, but not alone, right? Trump's like, why shouldn't the prime minister of fill in the blank country care about his people before? So this dude was a globalist, guys. This was coming. And this is what's funny is the smart people who are talking about this today are saying the market is way oversold on this news, and it is a what? A buy the frigging dip moment. I could not agree more. I didn't want this guy in the first place. So he's a globalist, and he essentially lost. Tariffs, it's a trade war, and nobody wants this. So he's gone. I love this. I absolutely love this dude being gone. And the market is way, way, way overreacting to this, okay? What did I predict, folks? We said the short vol trade is going to get killed eventually. Whoop, there it is. We're going to buy the dip here. We're going to chop around the 50. We're going to chop around the 50 again. Before what? We do the next leg, which in my opinion is up, right? So this is chop, folks. It's not like tomorrow Gary Kahn's going to come out and resign again. So once something is known, it's known. So this dude is gone, and I don't care. I'm actually liking that he's gone. Now, this guy remains. If you remember what happened a year ago in a town in Virginia called Charlottesville, it's not on the radar right here, but back last summer, remember all the riots and my God, Trump's, whatever happened to everybody tearing down Civil War statues? That's right. They moved back on so Russia, he's a racist, back to Russia. Now it's something else. Anyway, what happened? The markets, so here's the market going up, and then Charlottesville happened, and we had a pullback like Monday when the markets opened. Why did we have a pullback when the markets opened after those riots in Charlottesville? Because the liberals in the media said, oh my God, Gary Kahn and Steve Mnuchin are going to resign because there's no way they can stay in the White House with a racist Nazi. Does everybody remember that? And I know all my potential members who said, stop talking politics, give me your trades. They're not here anymore, which is awesome. But what happened? Neither of them resigned. Okay, so Trump's a racist, Trump's a Nazi, Mnuchin and Kahn are going to resign. They didn't. What happened after the market? Okay, oh my God, Trump's a racist. No, he's not, and they didn't resign. So it's dumb, folks. Steve Mnuchin came out today and said what? Yeah, Kahn's a good dude. He's a buddy of mine. We're both limousine liberals, but we're going to press forward with these tariffs. I can't, as you guys know, I'm a political animal. I love the politics of this. I love seeing the Republicans twist and turn in the wind, essentially looking like they support this limousine liberal. It's awesome. Literally, I have my popcorn out and I'm watching this. But remember, folks, the market don't like volatility. The market likes stability, right? So I get it. Down 300 points at our lowest whiz, it ain't pleasant. It is for me. As options traders, we love volatility. It might not be good for America, it might not be good for the world, all that type of stuff. But remember, I call myself, it's sometimes a Gordon Gekko. We want bad stuff to be going on, not necessarily bad, but volatility. How about this Win Iron Condor, folks? This Win Iron Condor, we're going to go on about what, $22,000 we have been printing money in Win here. We were in an analyze your trade. It was a Thursday when the news broke. bear call spread. Oh my God, it's stabilized. We put on a bull put spread right there. He's got to resign. He can't. Oh, he resigned. $1,000 in a day, and then we've made $4,200 last week on an iron condor that expired, and we have another one. It's going right between the uprights. So another. If you're in that win iron condor, folks, let me get a hell yeah. If you're looking at about another $4,200, and look at that trade, man. I had that up before we got on the webinar, so my apologies. But let's take a look at the VIX. Yeah, Kevin, we need more wind scandals. Not weird. Good. Harry's in it. Benoit, yours expired last week, but we put on another one. Remember? I think it's in Analyze Your Trade. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's stick in this portfolio. So the volatility index today, folks. Here's what's funny. Volatility got smashed, and now, oh my God, wow, the market's digesting. He did resign. Nobody cares. This is the convulsions I talk about. Okay, him resigning really isn't a big deal. Well, maybe it is. It isn't. Like I said, good riddance. I'm not going to talk about Gary Kahn anymore. The news is out there. He's resigned. It ain't coming. There ain't going to be breaking news tomorrow. Now let's talk about really why the market's moving around right now. Now let's get operational, okay? ADP. If you don't know what ADP, folks, is automatic data payroll, whatever the hell it's called. It ain't a government. It's a private company, right? So they come out whenever it's a non-farm payroll week. Let me go back a day here. Whenever it's a non-farm payroll Wednesday, we get our ADP number. So look at this. We had a jobs report today for last month. Where is it? So look at this. The previous month was revised up. We were looking for 199. ADP was, look at that. Bam. So you ready for this? This is good news. Wiz, at least ADP says that the employment picture is looking good. Isn't that awesome? Well, it might not be awesome. All right, Wiz, talk to me. What you talking about, Willis? With this good jobs number, Jerome Powell might be looking at this. He's obviously looking at Fridays. Friday, we get the government. The government number comes out on Friday. Where is it? Non-farm payroll. So again, ADP was looking for 199. The U.S. government is looking for 201. I think it's going to be right in line with the ADP. Remember, if you're not a member, you haven't heard me use this term before, but the ADP number on Wednesday, it's a jobs program for Wall Street. You know what's going on right now? I've seen it. There's a bunch of 28-year-old people running around Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all these places, rewriting or coming up with a new number for Friday. So it's a day and a half jobs program to see if they can get Friday's number right. It's comical. But Wiz, all right, back to why you said this might be bad. I just told you. If Jerome Powell's sitting here going, man, the unemployment picture is smoking. We are at full employment. Right? So I might feel comfortable enough to raise interest rates a couple times this year, maybe 4, maybe 5. So that's what is freaking the market out a little bit. So what is the bad news today that might be good news? And if I'm losing you, I'm doing it on purpose because I call this bizarro market. So good news is good news usually. Okay, Wiz, it's good news. Bad news is good news. All right, hang on. And awful news is great news. If you don't understand that, give me 2 minutes. Look at this headline. So along with the ADP number, what did we get today? Wage growth in 2017 was at its lowest in 9 years. This sucks. That ain't good news, right? So look at that right down here. So low, crappy wage growth is good news. All right, Wiz, I ain't getting it. Because Jerome Powell looked at this and said, whoa, the economy's starting to overheat. I might crank up interest rates. Whoa. Wage growth sucked. So net in this market, it's kind of a neutral, right? Isn't that awesome? So these two reports kind of negated. Hey, good. That's great news. What a beat. Oh, that sucks. That's net good for the market. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. If it doesn't, you got to sign up, and I'm going to teach you all of this stuff. Okay, so this is awesome. I love this stuff. Let me move this over to here. There ain't. I briefed this the other day. The nuclear option. If we do have a trade war, whiz, what if they dump all our treasuries? What are they going to buy? Luxembourg bonds or something? We're the best house in a good or bad neighborhood, folks. I am not worried about this at all. This is the sky is falling. Oh my God. And I love people looking in the rearview mirror. This one guy interviewed on CNBC, he was in the Bush White, and George Bush, both of them. But the younger, stupid one, that dude's off my list of people I want to have a beer with. I think that dude's a jackass. He didn't say one word about Barack Hussein Obama in 8 years. Now he opens fire on Donald Trump all that he can. Shut up and go back to Crawford and shut your suck. What a coward. Was he afraid to be called a racist or something like that? I can't stand the Bushes anymore. They're done. Thank God the Clinton and Bush dynasty's over with. Anyway, folks, I don't think we're going to have a trade war. But the reason I went on that little bit of a rant is this. Everybody's looking in the rearview mirror. Some other idiot on CNBC. Last time we had a trade war in 1920, whatever, it caused this. Are you retarded? You're comparing today's market to something that happened before, a jet flew. Stop. And this other Bush, we had to drop our trade war because the WTO told us to. This ain't a dude who's going to get pushed around. Donald Trump is not going to get pushed around by the WTO or anybody else. So do not compare this market to any other market or this potential trade war to anybody else. So here's my prediction. I think Trump's going to go easy on our allies, and he's going to stick it to China. Okay? And let me see who's going to get a gold star. You ready? Who's going to get the biggest gold star right now? Why do you think this is awesome? This is going to be good. Why do you think Donald J. Trump announced a trade war, not a trade war, that he was going to, stick it to China and a couple other folks? I briefed it about 12 minutes ago. One of the main reasons. Somebody's type as fast as you can and tell me, and you're going to win. Art of the deal. A bunch of people got it. It's this. It looks like China. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, and I admitted I bailed out of the market, or around here with 3 carrier strike groups off of Korea. I said, "Holy shit, folks! This might be the Fred Sanford." I was wrong. And remember, I went to Tahoe. We had a great live event, and I told you when I predicted that, I said I want to be wrong, right? So he got what he wanted, or he got pretty damn close to what he wanted out of North Korea. Now he's going to stick it to China. Oh man, if you don't you gotta love this stuff, man. It's comical. So he's starting to get what he wants out of North Korea. Now he's gonna, hey, China. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump campaigned on, hey, day one, I'm going to label China a currency manipulator. Day one in office. Nobody does day one in office better than me, believe me. And he didn't. He didn't because he wanted to use that chip. Hey man, go sit on your crazy nephew. He's out of control, and I'm going to smack him around if you don't. Nah. Okay, well now I got 3 battle groups over here, and I'm not. I'm going to go destroy your own. Oh no. All right, we'll take care of them. Well, they might have, and now he's going to start coming after him. I love this. You got it, folks. The art of the deal. Okay, so. Anyway, I think it's great. So volatility's back, guys. I love this. If you don't like this, you shouldn't sit on the sidelines and eat some popcorn and kind of watch it. It's easy, not necessarily easy. It's easy to trade a market that's doing that. It ain't necessarily to do it when it's doing that, but we're up as of today 49% across our portfolios. That's disgusting. If this were a hedge fund, I would have shut the doors by now, and I'd be I wouldn't be in the Hamptons. It's snowing. I'd be down here. Okay, let me review a little bit more, and then we got to get to trading and review some existing portfolios. Exactly, fish shit hot. I already briefed a lot of this stuff that the fangs are on their way out. This is the worst purge of conservative voices in the history of the internet. Facebook. See, look, they even call it Google. It ain't Alphabet. It's Google. Twitter. It's done, folks. The heydays of the tech and them being looked at bastions of freedom and this and that and free speech is over with. Gone are the glory days of glowing praise and good PR for tech companies. And I said this 90 times this week, and I'll say it again. Amazon ain't a tech. It uses tech. It's a service company, man, and it's got to be glad that it ain't considered a tech. What's Amazon doing as I've been speaking? It's kind of been this is why we put on a bull put spread the other day. It's been immune. Oh my God, it's down $2. So whoever asked earlier, Kathy, if you're still in the weekly options trade, you're up what? About $1,900. Is right. Let me ask any of my members. I know I don't like confusing portfolios, but since it's full throttle, let me ask. Anybody still in it? Kathy's still in it. Okay, good. Now I'm not talking about the bull put spread from yesterday. That's a longer term trade. Steve's still in. Scott closed it yesterday. Okay. Elaine. Okay, good. Be careful, folks, because Mnuchin just said, hey, man, we're going to do this. The president ordered. I saw a tweet, I think. He said, I want this done this week. So this dude's probably going to be at a podium either tomorrow or Friday announcing these tariffs. So remember, between now and Friday, we might go freak mode. So be very, 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 very profitable. Okay. Ryan, still in, couldn't get filled at a 70% gain. It should be up more than 70% right now, guys. I don't want to confuse people with weekly options who aren't in them, but do the math, guys. Please, please, please do not turn what probably today is an 80% gain in 2 days into a 100% loser. If we wake up on, Steve, with our luck, Steve Mnuchin goes to the podium and says, here's the tariffs we're enacting, and Amazon, we're going to hit you with your own tariff, and the thing goes down $300. So I'm out. I'm out of the volatility, and just again, you guys are Scott's saying it's up 82% right now, or 85. So all right, let's take a look at existing. And I didn't do this yesterday in the primary live trade brief, guys, and I was wrong not to, but I didn't review existing positions in the PLTB. So let's go to Accelerated Retirement, member content. So for all the potential new members, during every one of these briefs, I do my strategic brief, I get operational, and now we're going to get tactical. And when we get tactical, we review what? Existing trades. So here's an existing trade that we put on last week. So what did we do last week? First of all, we closed a Visa spread. We closed a Visa spread for what? A $2,100 gain. I think it was in a week. We made $2,100 last week on a 2-week Visa trade. That was awesome, and we have another one right now on Visa. But right now, here's one of our existing trades in MGM, the 32.5 bull put spread. Okay. So whoever's asking about JP Morgan, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. Fred, what about the losers? Fred, we cover the losers. If there's no losers, we're not covering them. Let's take a look at this one right now, the 32.5. This might be, let's take a look at it. MGM. Nope, it's probably looking pretty good. So let's pull it up. We always brief the losers. I told you, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago? I got kicked in the teeth on one of these swings with an Amazon weekly options trade. We talk about all of them. Tim's saying his MGM is up about 12%. So it's probably flat. So this position, let me just mirror the trade right here. The 32.5 to March 29. The 32.5. The 33 right there. 32.5. Buy the 32.5s. How many? 150. So this trade, all right, it's up a penny. It's up maybe $150. So this trade is essentially flat. Scott's saying MGM's up 5% for me. So yeah, this is up a couple $100. Kevin's saying he's showing about 10 cents. Yeah, it might be up 150 to $200. Okay, so this, for AR members who are currently in this trade is a hold. Okay, So if you're one of my free folks just kind of watching our normal flight operations, I like this trade. I like the 33, 32 and a half bull put spread, and you could probably get it at 11 cents. So this, one more time, this is an existing position. This is a hold. And also to answer Fred's question, I said this the other day. I stopped trading Tesla, like 3 months ago, because I got my ass kicked a little bit by Tesla. Tesla, net, I think we ended up, when we were trading it for like a month and a half, net, I think it ended up positive. But man, there were there weren't some pretty trades in a Tesla. So folks, don't think I briefed you on my Donald Rumsfeld slides, man. We talk about losing trades as well. So if there ain't a current losing trade, Fred, I don't know what to tell you. I can make one up. Okay, Fish, yeah, we'll take a look at JP Morgan. That might be underwater right now. But here's, so that's an existing position from last week. Yeah, that's also called a vertical spread. You bet. Yeah, exactly, Harry. I was spanked for not following my own rule. I usually don't trade the front month on positions I don't have a leap on, meaning I was not long-term bullish or bearish on Tesla, and I was playing around in the front month. And guess what? I didn't listen to my own stuff. Here's a trade that expires tomorrow on Visa, the 120, 119. So this is, everybody take a look at this. This is another bull put spread. So we closed. Oh, this is the one we talked about last week. But look at this trade, folks. We sold 75 of the 120 puts and bought as a hedge the 119s in case Visa went down. I just showed you the price of Visa right now. Is there anybody still in this trade? So look at this. We were risking right around my SOP. I don't want to risk more than around $5,000 on any one trade. That's pretty damn close. If you're in this trade right now, you're looking at what, a 95% profit, probably 1,800 bucks. This is a sweet looking trade. Jeff is in it. Dan's up 75%. David, yes. Debbie's still in it. All right, well, let's take a look at it. So this one expires tomorrow, the 120, 119. So obviously looking at Visa, folks, the 120, 119. Let's take a look at this. It's tomorrow. The 120, 119, sell, buy. And we got it. Now, how are you guys up? The 5K in risk on one trade is based on what kind of portfolio? So, Andrea, this is the notional portfolios are based on $100,000. Whoops. I guess I can just say it, but $100,000. A notional $100,000, right? My SOP, my standard operating procedure, as far as risk management, I don't want to risk more than 5% or obviously $5,000 on any one trade. That's me. I can't tell you what to do. I don't give investing advice. You're getting eavesdropped. It's like you're on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange. All right, well, there's Wiz. If he's managing this much, he doesn't want to risk more than that. So that's a good question. Absolutely. It's based on overall portfolio size. But remember, like I said the other day, folks, I don't, at any one time, you can do whatever you want to do. There's no way on God's green earth would I ever have a full $100,000 invested in the market. I keep about half of my powder dry. On average, I'm only deploying about 40 to 60% of that. My God, no, don't ever. So, and again, I'm going to teach you all this stuff. You're getting to hang out in the squadron and look. Kershid, I just answered that. 5% of what? 5% of $100,000 is $5,000. Okay, so this Visa trade, what did we get it at? So this is a hold as well. So to Fred's point, we got it at, so this trade expires on March 9th, which is 2 days from now, okay? And let's take a look at the metrics. So this expires Friday, folks. This is 75 contracts. Let me put them in here. So this is another hold. This is hanging. So it's up what? Whatever. Everybody knows what 75 times 3 is. It's it's up a couple $100, 225 bucks. Okay. So if you like this is Andrea, I noticed you do more complicated trades versus basic calls and puts. Any particular reason? To be honest with you, Andrea, this is not a bull put spread. Is not. We don't trade. reverse straddle iron condor with a twist. I don't even know what that is. I hardly ever just straight buy calls or puts. Why? If I can have somebody else help out with the cost of that, I'd rather do a spread. The main times that I'd be a straight buyer of something would be puts if I'm hedging. So very rarely am I, folks. And I'll tell you to the free people that are hanging out, my members know this. How many times have I done, like in my options career, heard at the water cooler, like, hey, I heard Apple might buy Twitter, and then I go run and buy some calls. That's a lottery ticket, man. And I'd say about 70% in my career, randomly buying calls or, hey, unusual options activity, it works out against me. So I end up usually having somebody else help me out with that, Andrea. But that's a great question. Very good question. And you're going to learn that here at TGO. I like hedging that. Okay. So Ryan, how do you figure you're 40 to 50% invested? Well, Ryan, so if I have a $100,000 model portfolio, I look at in this one. So this one's at zero, obviously, guys, because this is for training. So you can look in your brokerage account, and obviously your broker figures out how much you have at risk or how much capital is deployed and at risk. So that's how I know, at least in TradeStation and E-Trade, you know based on your open positions how much risk there is. You should be able to see on your brokerage platform, Ryan. If you have any questions, you can always pick up the phone and call those people. Does that make sense? Exactly, Brian and Harry. So Andrea, Brian and Harry, current members are helping you out, saying Wiz always like to hedge every trade, right? And there goes another full throttle max annual. So hopefully I'm saying something. So this is another hold, guys. This is a pilot and command moment. Let me give you a brief right now, folks. I'd be holding this one, but listen to me. I believe that the bad news is out with Gary Kahn. He's not going to resign again tomorrow and Friday. However, and Donald Trump came out an hour or two ago and said, hey, Mnuchin, I want this stuff wrapped up by Friday. So if you believe that the market might go full freak mode again, like this is brand new news, I would close that Visa trade. Everybody give me a vertical head nod if you understand that. If you ain't in the mood to dogfight this to Friday, close it for a couple $100 or even. Does that make sense? I'm telling you, folks, I believe that this is, and we actually have a weekly options brief on Friday, folks. Well, actually, our final full throttle, our final free event is on Friday. So if you think that the market might go freak mode again on this news this week, I'd close this trade for around even money. There it is. We opened it at 23 cents a couple weeks ago, and it's at 23 cents. So, but remember, what are we getting? Even as I'm blabbing about this trade, what do we get? In a credit spread, what do we get? First of all, in a credit spread, we make money three ways, right? There's Visa right now. Visa can go up. Visa can kind of stay where it is. Or folks, Visa can even go down a little bit as long as it stays where? Above our break. There's our break even on Visa. It's what? It's about it's about $1 away from the current price. So our break even, our probability of making some sort of profit, folks, is 71% right now. That ain't too, that's a high probability trade. And remember, as I'm talking and babbling here, we get theta. We get this Greek called time decay. So look at that. Everybody stare right there as I take us between, let's hop in our Hornet and go the speed of light until Friday. Look at that theta. That's called time decay, and you make money. If Visa just sits here going, all right, what the hell's going to go with the trade war or tariffs? We make money on it chopping sideways, right? So that's a pilot and command moment. Yo soy whiz, I would be holding this trade. But if you ain't in the mood to put up with, and it's holding right above where? So these are called Keltner channels. And I'll brief, when you become a member, you're going to learn all this stuff. Look, it bounced off the Keltner channel. It bounced off the Keltner channel. Can it go lower? Of course it can. I don't think it's going to. All right, I bet that's a dead horse. Enough time wasted on Visa. Any other member questions? You got it, Hollis. Unched on the day equals time decay. Unchanged on the day. Look, Visa is essentially unchanged right now. If it just sits here and wallows around today, We made money on it. Isn't that awesome? So, okay. Tim, Tim's exactly right. So Tim said, hey, Wiz, don't you remember last week you talked about last week, this was where we were last week, right? It was, that's what I thought, Tim. We talked about closing that out. So if you're still in it, this is a discussion for folks if you're still in it. I thought we closed that, didn't we? Yeah. Sue, go over the Amazon trade from yesterday. Nope. That's in the primary live trade brief, folks. That's a different portfolio. We are in accelerated retirement, and if we have some time, we can do it tomorrow and analyze your trade. But I don't like mixing portfolios. The only reason I talked about Amazon a little bit at the beginning was as an example of why you should get out of something. But guys, there are different members and different services, so I don't cross portfolio and talk. Let's waste 15 minutes talking about Amazon when people in the accelerated retirement service are going, well, that was a way. I don't even know what that Amazon trade is. So nope. Maybe we'll talk about Amazon tomorrow. So please stop by tomorrow or Friday. All right, we got to go. We got to talk about some other stuff here. All right, so let's go back and review if there's any other existing positions that we need to talk about in accelerated retirement. Visa. I think there's Brazil. Oh, this one closed last. Oh, that's right. We closed this one for a. Look at this one, guys. This was March 2nd. This was last Friday. This one expired. The 117, 116 on Visa. We've been having a blast with Visa. The only closest one is the one I just talked about. If you're still in it, this one expired on Friday for a max profit of $1,700. So we're doing extremely well in Visa, and we have a Jan20. So when Visa kind of pulled back, when did we get into it, guys? I don't have it in front of me. We got into a long call diagonal, I think, right around here. So I mean, that's a good climb schedule. It's not flat. It ain't doing this. So we're seeing some nice profits. Knock on wood, we haven't, since we got into a Jan20 on Visa, we haven't had a losing trade. Angela, thoughts on Facebook? Sell. I can't stand Facebook. Watch one of the replays. Okay. Kevin, you're right. EWZ, let's get to that. Brazil. Love Brazil. Love the people. We had an EWZ that expired. That's our bear shovel vertical on volatility. Where is it? This one. The 45, 44.5 bull put spread. So, Kevin, you nailed it, man. We had a Brazil and an MGM trade expire for max profit last Friday. So we didn't. The only thing that's iffy right now is that current Visa trade. So here's a Brazil trade. We risked $5,500 and we made $2,000 last Friday. Loved it. Good stuff. The only thing that's and I don't think it's in this portfolio. The closest thing that we have that sucks is ExxonMobil. And if we have it's in a different portfolio, guys. It's not in this one. So ExxonMobil, there's actually a story today about $70 oil in the journal. Where is it? Let me talk about, I want to get a new trade on, guys. So maybe I'll save ExxonMobil to the end here. But there was a bullish article. Where the hell was it? Did I close it? Where is it? It is, Alan. So real quick, we need to talk JP Morgan, especially for our potential new folks. I don't want to chew up too much clock because, like I said, I got a speech tonight. I would get out of ExxonMobil. So we have an iron condor on, which is at max profit, and the bull put spread I think is down $1,000 right now. So you know what? Let's make a call. Let's close ExxonMobil. Net. I think it's probably. If this one's showing a loss, this one's showing max profit. Somebody do the math real quick. This is ExxonMobil, guys. It trades in a range, and like I've preached during our iron condor training, iron condors are great until they're not. So let's let our winners run and get out of it. So it is. Guys, if you're in the Jan20, I wouldn't. I'm talking about the front month. So let's open a 6-month chart of this, or actually the 1 year. So remember, we did iron condors. Let me clear the chart here, folks. ExxonMobil tends to channel. We did iron condors and we loved it, right? We did iron condors all the way, and it moves. You like an iron condor as long as, look at that. Look, whoa, that ain't good. So we bailed out of that one. So we made some nice profits all the way up until that one kicked us in the teeth. I mean, again, kind of like Tesla, net, we made some good money on this. But when it breaks out of a range, get out. Here's what we did when it got back into a range. So near-death experience, we ignored it for a little while. Once it started to do this rip your face off rally, we got into a Jan20 here. So we've kind of made a round trip, but we've traded the front months, right? Meaning it got into a range. We did iron condors here. So nice money, nice money. Oh, there's a losing spread. So is Fred still in here? So Fred, we absolutely have losing trades. That was a losing trade when it broke out of the range. That was a losing trade when it broke out of the range. But before that, you're doing some good work in the iron condor range. And then we just we started eating popcorn and watching it. So I thought it was going to find a range here. Forget it. Let's get out of it. And if I have time at the end, I'll give you more, or maybe we'll do that tomorrow and analyze your trade. But if you're, let's get out of it. Yep. So we're yeah. No, I'm not going to look at Win. Whoever just asked that, different portfolio, and we're confusing trades here, guys. So everybody, throttle back. Let's try and stick with what we're doing here. And this is a perfect example. I'm not shitting you, folks. This is a perfect example of why we only take 50 slots. We can't do a live trade brief with 516 people in here. This is why we limit the squadron, man, so we can have a nice, gentlemanly, womanly discussion in our live trade briefs, not this 80,000 people still asking them to go over Amazon. I mean, really? So, KG, sorry, lost sound. Did you suggest any trades today? I'm trying to get to one. So now Wiz is going to go into ignore mode, and we're going to, again, folks, opening the doors to my squadron. Everybody kind of runs around and starts poking around and stuff like that. We gotta talk here and get on a new potential trade. So here we go. I'm not going to be rude. I'll try and take questions at the end. And this is a not so friendly reminder to do this. Katie bar the door, exactly. All my members are like, they understand it, folks. So if you want all these great questions you're asking about what you've seen so far this week, if they don't get answered, they will next week when you become a member. So you got to grab your slot now, and all of your questions will be answered there. Pete, it's snowing on the beach in Atlantic City. I used to live right across the bay, man. I grew up in Margate, and then lived across the bay in Absecon. I used to be like a guard in Brigantine. So, Pete, I miss my jersey. All right, so here we go. Again, folks, as I said, there's probably 3 slots that went during this. So if you don't like the madness of these free sessions, you're going to have a good time when you become a member. Here we go. You ready? You should, everybody on the bottom, are the handouts still in here? Yeah, they are. So everybody should have the trade plan. So over in the bottom, if you're looking at me, bottom right of your control panel, there's 2 handouts. One of them is a trade plan that you should pull up and open because I'm going to go through it right now. Okay. Paul, New Jersey sucks. Well, here we go. So strategic mindset. Step 1, you can either be bullish, bearish, volatile, or neutral. And right now, I'm going to say it again, like I said yesterday, I am cautiously bullish. The cautiously means what? We got a hedge. And I'm pretty sure, unless something weird happens, we're going to talk tomorrow about hedging and maybe getting some protection on the S&P 500. That will be tomorrow, folks, at 1 o'clock. So if you want to talk hedging and how to protect stuff, please do that. Okay. So, Sam, since oil, ExxonMobil may move, yeah. Sam, if you think it's going to go back into that range, maybe you hold on to ExxonMobil. So cautiously bullish, folks. The tax cuts, we have Q1 earnings coming up. And if you remember last earnings, Q4, almost to a company, everybody said, my God, this tax reform, we got our accountants and our CFO working overtime to calculate the impact of this tax. Let's just say it's freaking phenomenal. The companies didn't even know the impact of this yet, and they're giving money back to their employees. they're announcing that we're hiring. They're acquiring companies. So I think Q1 earnings are going to rock. So my strategic mindset, step one in our trade plan, folks, is what? Cautiously bullish. Step two is our target. And today, for this trade, we're going to target JP Morgan. I love JP Morgan. My bronze or my silver medalist in the financials is Morgan Stanley. And I got to be honest with you, I think Bank of America is probably my bronze. The bank that I would short the hell out of, and I'd love to see it go out of business, is Wells Fargo. It is a criminal enterprise, and it's disgusting. Their old CEO should be in jail, and so should 5,000 of their employees who engaged in making fake accounts or stealing your identification and opening new accounts so they could get bigger bonuses. Wells Fargo is a disgusting and corrupt organization and bank. Okay, so here we go. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at JP Morgan. I like Jamie Dimon. I thought he was going to run for president. And oh yeah, John, what was it? A couple weeks ago, John, in the sit rep, in the free sit rep, I put out a bearish trade on Wells Fargo. I didn't put it on. I just talked through it live. And John said he was up 90% in his bearish in 1 week on his bear call spread. Let me show you that real quick. What he just said right there. Empty field, empty field. Empty field says too much bullshit. I don't know if that was about Wells Fargo or me, but by all means. All right, my thing's not working here. Let's stay with JP Morgan. So step two is identify the target. Step three is going to be the tactic, the commit criteria. So here are the commit criteria for getting into a long call. This tactic's called a long call diagonal on JP Morgan. Oh, here it is. So here you go. So everybody look at this. This is interesting. So empty field right here says too much BS. I don't know if that's about Wells Fargo or me, but there's John. John said, hey, I did, there's 1 week. So John made 90% on the Wells Fargo trade we talked about in 1 week. Isn't that awesome? Anybody like making 90% in 1 week? So this tactic that we're going to employ is called a long call diagonal, and I'm going to throw on what is called a protective put. Now, if you're sitting there going, Wiz, I don't even know what a call is or anything like that, let me show you what we did last night. We ended our full throttle folks from January. You're going to get 8 sessions of training. So last night, full throttle. Last night we did an 1.5-hour session. So I'm going to blow through this tactic, guys. Unfortunately, I'm going to ignore a lot of questions because it's just there's too much. So last night we did an 1.5 hour with a glass of wine on a long call diagonal tactic and synthetic stock. So if I lose you, if I scrape you off into the wall going, don't worry about it. You get training on this. This is why I use these live trade briefs to talk more about the trades and stuff than I do to sit here for an 1.5 hours and talk about what a long call diagonal is. Any questions, this is my famous line when I say, hey, Steve, great question. Do me a favor, go watch the training video on this and it will answer it. Okay, so that frees up a lot of bandwidth in our live trade briefs to focus on the trading. Okay, so replays are a great help. Okay. Someone didn't use their name when they signed in. That's all right, guys. I know I got potential bogeys out there. That it's comical to see some of the. Remember the person last time? It was a former TGO member who likes to come by every once in a while and take pot shots. It's comical. So here we go. I believe this is what's cool about options, folks. And members can't answer this question because you know the answer. If you're new, tell me what is the average holding time of a stock person today? If somebody buys a stock today, what's the average holding time? Exactly, Fish. People rewind the replays over and over again. Ray or Ryu, you're close. What's the average? 3 days. No, that's a little tactical. Stock forever. Nope. 2 seconds. 1 year. Folks, the average, what was it? The CFTC put out, it's 6 months. I think TD Ameritrade also put it out. This isn't our father or mother stock market. People are holding stock positions for about 6 months. So why would you tie up My buddy downstairs, Greg, who I'm teaching how to trade options, he's got like 11 grand. He's like long McDonald's stock. I'm like, man, are you high? Why? He doesn't know what options are. I gave him the quick little brief. I'm like, he's like, so wait a minute, for about a grand, I can control the same amount of McDonald's shares for a certain period of time. I'm like, yeah. He's like, then I can take the remaining 10 grand and put it elsewhere. Duh. So please don't ever buy another stock again. Anyway, so check this out. We're going to hop in our F-18 right now, and we are going to hop in our time machine. And I think look at this. Look at the expirations, folks. We can hop in our F-18 and go the speed of light and travel all the way out to January of 2020. Barbara Walters, right? 2020. So my strategic mindset is the financials, ladies and gentlemen, in 2018 are going to rock. Why? I briefed you the other day. Jerome Powell the Fed is going to raise interest rates. Can anybody tell me, if you drove by a bank today, was there any big signs in the window that said, come in today for our 5% CD? No. We are and have been for years, in a near zero rate interest environment. The financials have been huffing and puffing. So if Jerome Powell raises rates 3 or 4 times next year, alone from the tax reform, JP Morgan said JP Morgan is opening what, folks? They announced they were going to open 100 new branches. When this tax reform came out, they gave out 10% bonuses to people. Jamie Dimon said this stock, or the Trump tax plan is we're loving it. It's awesome. Isn't this great? So I have 50 grand in 20 dividend paying stocks. Am I doing it wrong? D, sign up and become a member. I'm going to explain it to you. So here's what we're going to do. That's a great question, D. I'd love to, again, folks, there's a lot of great questions flying by. I'm going to close the puts. The puts were on the right side of the screen. The calls are on the left. What I'm going to do is scroll down to January of 2020. Look at this. This trade has 681 days to work out. Like I covered with my members, you ready for this? The average long call diagonal here at TGO makes, this is the average, about 45 grand in 15 months. We closed at JP Morgan Jan 18 in what, November or December, for 48 grand. AIG, what else? Apple. The average, some or more. I think we had an Apple long call diagonal. We closed for about 60 grand in about 17 months. That's one trade, ladies and gentlemen. And I showed you what happened. I'm not going to bore you with the slides again. You guys saw what happened with our Goldman Sachs folks, right? In one trade. One of our members was up 150 grand. Now, he did 20 contracts, but this is going to be one trade. And if JP Morgan does what we think it's going to do, this trade potentially could see maybe anywhere between 30 and 60 grand in profit by January of 2020. So most people don't even make 45 grand in 15 months, folks. You could potentially see this in one trade. Now, let me be my own attorney and compliance officer. JP Morgan could turn out to be Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and go to zero, and we get kicked in the guts. You have got to understand that risk. Do I think that's going to happen? Nope. There is a 0.0% probability of that happening. Can it? Yes. So there you go. I just paid my attorneys. Of course that can happen, folks. It did happen. Does anybody know this guy called Jim Cramer? Anybody remember what he said about Bear Stearns before it went to zero and went bankrupt? Ryan, these long call diagonal trades only risk 5% of the model portfolio and make huge. Nobody does huge better than me. Yep. Greg, I'm going to show people that one too. Greg's been printing money with Amazon, but look at this. So there's Greg. To see the potential, our 2019 JP Morgan long call. Look at this, folks. This trade still has what, folks? Almost a year, under a year to keep working. And Greg is saying it's up. His is up 92%, and that's in 14 months. So Greg's seeing over 11 grand in profit. Well said, Greg. Slow and steady wins the race. Look at Brian. I didn't see your comment. Brian snuck one in there. We have an MGM Jan20 trade. Brian, when did we put that on? After the shooting, right? And that's awful. But again, Gordon Gekko, it's awful. I'm gonna capitalize on that tragedy. So Brian's in a long call diagonal on MGM that's up 80% in 3 months. Now I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you should not do a long call diagonal on something that ain't going to be around. You don't think it's going to be around in 2 years. This tactic is only for something like, I can't stand Twitter. I think it's awful. If Trump announced, do you guys see that Twitter actually censored some of Trump's tweets? If that dude's, what's the new Twitter, Gab or something? Could you imagine if Trump woke up and said, you know what? Nobody sells Twitter like I do. I can't stand it. I'm going over to a new platform. I think Twitter might go out of business. So you wouldn't do a long call diagonal on a Twitter, right? It just doesn't. I like saying Twitter. So only do it. Only do it on stuff that you think is going to be around in a while. Okay? Yeah, Stormy. So here we go. Now let's get into the tactic and the tactical employment on our checklist. The reason I close the puts is because I want to find, now remember folks, if it's hard to see, I don't want to change my screen color. You see this kind of light gray area? This is called in the money. You see this there, well, down here it's white. That's called out of the money. And again, I'm going to teach you all this stuff. So there's white, there's gray, in the money, out of the money. I want to look for the calls that are closest in value to a 0.8 delta. If you don't know what delta is, I'm going to teach you. And if you don't know why I do pick those, I'm going to teach you real quick. Delta is, first of all, it's the probability of these options finishing in the money, right? So there's an 80%, according to the options market, probability that JP Morgan is above what? What's that, the 90 strike? So so even the options market saying, hey, Wiz, JP Morgan's going up. But here's also what delta is. Delta is the rate of change. You see these options prices here? That's the bid, and that's the, this is a market, folks. There's a bid, there's an ask, and there's a mid-market. So delta also means this, the rate of change in the underlying prices based on the rate of change in this. So if options, let's pretend that these options right here said delta of 1.00. That would mean if JP Morgan goes up $1 today, these go up $1 today. JP Morgan goes down $10, these go down $10. So a delta of 1.0 means a 1-for-1 change. Well, that's a good deal, Wiz. I can see that you like buying some deep in the money calls that have some meat on the bones. Yep. Look at this, folks. The delta closest to like a 0.5. That's kind of a lotto ticket. So I forget who asked earlier, like, Wiz, why would you just, why don't you buy just straight calls? Well, they might be a little bit of a lottery ticket. So look at the difference in price. These 0.8 delta calls are what? 29 bucks. All right, well, Wiz, that ain't cheap. It ain't cheap because, folks, we have a lot of time left in them. And what? Also a lot of intrinsic and extrinsic value. These are the 90 calls, and the stock's at 113. So Wiz, yeah, there's a lot of meat on these bones, right? We're paying for it. But look at these calls, the 0.5 deltas. They're really, really cheap. You could, you fly and fight your airplane the own way. I'm telling you, after 25 years of doing this, Uncle Wiz likes to fly out in time and buy some deep in the money 80 delta calls with some meat on the bones. I'm not ignoring your questions, folks. Again, if this were a normal member session, we'd be going back and forth and I'd be answering everything. So I'm not being rude. We gotta get this tactic on. I gotta get my speech ready for tonight. Holy crap. All right, I'm taking a break for that one. So look at our members here, folks. Diane, there's Diane. She was one of our Goldman Sachs winners. So look at Diane. My one contract on Amazon is almost $21,000 since mid-January. Kevin's been doing, and Kevin and Diane are both lifetime members. They also recognize a good trade. They got into their lifetime membership. Kevin's Amazon synthetic stock is up 190%. He did it, a month and a half ago? And his Raytheon is up 1,600%. Menli testimonials that were taken live. You can see the time too, guys. These are current members. That was 2 minutes ago. So I apologize I didn't see those. I'm trying to blow through the tactic. And so look at so the long call diagonal, folks. It ain't like weekly options. Like, hey, I made $5,000 in a day. Oh, now I lost $5,000. So just know that these are slow and steady wins the race. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I probably had the March 9s up there, but so look at Greg. Be sure to become a TGO member. You can increase your wealth fast, slow, or medium, depending on what? Your risk tolerance. So Greg's saying, hey, there's a reason that TGO's got that has these tracks, weekly options, accelerated retirement. It's different. It's not, in the Navy, folks, some people fly helicopters, some people fly propeller planes, and other people fly jets. Those are the 3 type of portfolios that we have here. All right. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. So here we go. So I'm going to look for the deep in the money calls. I was right, guys. These are the Jan 20s. It said March 9th because I rolled my screen up a little bit. No. The Jan 20 90s are the 0.8 deltas. So let's build this trade, folks. And we got to get moving. I was going to do Tamara, and I apologize. I was going to do my speech last night, get it ready for tonight, but I forgot we had to knock out our last full throttle session. So here we go. I'm going to click on those Jan 20. So we hopped in our time machine, and I'm just going to leave 10 contracts in there for now for demonstration purposes. So I was right. It's about 29. So whoever asked earlier, hey, Wiz, you could do this, folks. You could just buy these deep in the money 80 delta calls. Wiz, you had me at hello. I believe JP Morgan and the financials are going to have a great next year and next couple years. You could do this, folks. You could simply buy these and look at your max potential profit is what? To infinity and beyond, right? Buzz Lightyear. But obviously, folks, what's your max potential loss if you did 10 contracts? JP Morgan can go to 0. And look at this, folks. The options market is actually saying, hey, man, there's a 25% chance that, we're all dead in 2 years or whatever. There's some potential risk here. So let me ask you a question. And obviously and looking at the risk graph, it's obvious, right? There's JP Morgan. That's the current price of the stock. If you bought these calls, you need them to go up. However, and I forget the lady's name. What do I hate about buying something? If you went down to the Fort Lauderdale Ferrari dealer right now and bought your $250,000 midlife crisis, as soon as you pull out of the parking lot, what hits you? Yeah, and you guys already beat me to it. Decay, right? Time decay. Soon as you peel out of that parking lot, folks, it went from $250,000 to $225,000. If you did a U-turn and went back in the parking lot and said, hey, Mr. Wiz, can you buy this car back? I'd be like, yeah, sure, for $200,000. That's life, folks. So I would not. Wiz has to pay. He likes to get paid first. Exactly. So first of all, what could we do with this trade to kind of clean it up? Even though I helped build this brokerage firm, folks, this one, Options House. I wrote the name on the board. It was Options Village, Option Farm. We had all sorts we finally voted. I was the guy. I was the managing director of strategy. I wrote that name. So I know a lot of people. I can't even call the Options House risk department and go, hey, guys, it's Wiz. Come on, man. Are you going to margin me as if JP? They won't even take my call, folks. It's all automated. So yeah. So what could we do? If you're relatively new to options, let's think through this, and I want you to answer. How can we show kind of the risk management department at E-Trade that even if JP Morgan goes to 0, I'm okay? You ready? What could we potentially use to hedge this trade? And I'm good. A lot of people are already answering. We could buy a put. There you go, folks. Light bulb on. Learning has occurred. So I like to use the term PP. Maybe we help out by buying a protective put, or actually sometimes I call it this, a disaster put. Okay. Do I think JP Morgan's going down? No. I mean, it could, and during the life of this trade, it might stay flat, whatever. I mean, in general, if I thought JP Morgan was going to 0, why am I doing this trade? But I'm going to throw on what I call a protective or quote disaster put. right? So why don't we fly out in time to January of 2020? What does the market, or what do smart people in the market think would be a disaster? What could we? Well, we just saw one of these, right? About a month ago. This was a what correction? We saw what? I think it ended up being about 11%. But what is defined? 10%. Usually the smart money in Wall Street says, hey man, if something pulls back about 10%, it's a correction, right? So this is, whoops, let me get back to here. And you can play with this, folks. And I'm going to, like I said, I did an hour and a half lecture on this tactic alone last night, and we talked for 20 minutes about protective or disaster put. I tend to go about 20% below the stock price. Let's just say it's 115 right now. Let's round up. 115. So that's what, 30, or no, what's that? 30. What would be 20% below that? 95 or something? Close enough for government work. I'm not even, whatever. Yeah, what is it? 92-ish, right? Or something around there. Who knows? Whatever 20% below this, was there a 92 and a half? That's pretty damn close. Yeah, I did go 10% last night, folks. This is why, you can become a member and watch this stuff. But let's take a, so, let me just stick with this for now because I want to get moving for demonstration purposes. Okay, so obviously this is a pretty big debit right here, and it needs to be a put, obviously, guys. So did everybody see what just happened to the risk? Did everybody just see what happened? Let me do it again. The max risk in this trade, if I just bought these 10 calls, is what? Holy crap, Wiz. I thought you didn't want to risk more. First of all, let me get this out of the way real quick. On a long call diagonal, I don't do the 5% rule of engagement. I usually go maybe a little bit higher, maybe about 10%, because these are decent. I'm picking a good underlying. I ain't trading a Twitter or a Tesla or Joe's biotech, right? So 5% doesn't apply here. But let's everybody look at this. 30 grand in risk. Now let's go back and add the put. Let's add the put. Add option, make sure it's a put, the Jan20 92 and a half. So look at this. Oh, that's not right. Let me throw on the that's exactly right. So now let's go ahead and here's what I want to do. The sound, we still have sound. What could we, so when you hear me say, and let's talk about terminology here. This is a leap. Right? This is called a long-term anticipated secure, whatever it's called. This is called a leap out here. These are leaps. These are longer dated options. Okay, leaps. This is what I define as the front month. March, April, May. These are the front months. So front months and leaps. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is really, really cool. I'm going to do what's called selling a front month upside call. And if I lost you, just hang out for a little bit. So we topped out at about 116 recently, or at the beginning of the month, or beginning of last month. We also topped out again around 118. So what could I do? I could do what's called selling a front month upside call. So you ready? Watch this. So let's add, I'm going to add an option, and let's make sure it's a call. And I'm going to sell. Let's go, I'm comfortable going out maybe, let's go out towards the end of March. I don't know, like the March 29 call. So now let's take a look at this trade, okay? This is really, really, really cool. And I'm not going to, super get it. Well, that doesn't make sense. I said sell. Sell 10 of this. Good. And it's the ones, what did I say? The one, let's go 117. I can't stand this E-Trade platform, folks. You click around and it moves all over the place. Okay, so now we're close to this being an awesome looking trade. So this is the Jan20 position that I would do right now if I were a brand new member to TGO. If I were long-term bullish, here's what's great about a long call diagonal is you can be bipolar, and so can I. Meaning, Wiz, I think by Jan20, JP Morgan is going to be a lot higher. However, in the short term, I think we might kind of hover for a little bit, or maybe just have a little bit of a climb schedule. So you can be long-term bullish and short-term neutral, bearish, or bullish, and make a little scratch. So let's take a look at the ticket. I'm going to have done some magic. You ready for this? Here we go. Take a look at this. Stop. God, man, let me make sure the ticket's right. Buy 10 of the Jan20 90 calls. Those are the 0.8 deltas. They got some meat on them. And you know what? In case JP Morgan decides to go to zero, I'm buying the Jan20 protective puts. And to make a little bit of scratch each month, I'm going to sell some front month upside calls. So everything looks good on that ticket, okay? This obviously, folks, is what? It's a net debit spread. I'm coming out of pocket. I mean, buying these deep in the money 80 delta calls, that ain't cheap. But what did I do? I'm going to defray my cost a little bit by selling these, and then I'm going to hedge a little bit by doing these. Does anybody remember what the max risk was when I started this trade? It was what? 30 grand. You ready? Nothing up my sleeves. I'm wearing short sleeve, nothing up my sleeves, and watch this. 3, 2, 1. What's the max risk? 8 grand. Isn't this freaking awesome? So I reduced our risk in this trade, sticking with 10 contracts, from 30 grand to the max risk is 8. Now ignore this for a second. I'm going to explain the math, and this is a crappy platform E-Trade thing. Isn't that cool? Thank you for the golf clap. It was magic. So it actually wasn't. It was math. So if here, let's look at the chart. So JP Morgan's right here. Oh my God, Wiz, you were wrong at Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers. Well, guess what? Our losses are stopped out where? At that put that we bought. Okay. Now the max profit that this is showing right here is based on the disaster put. It ain't on the front month upside call. Everybody stop typing for a second and let me explain this. This max potential profit is if JP Morgan did do that, and we know it's not. Here's the max potential profit on that front month upside call that we sold. You ready? Everybody look down here. Everybody watch right here when I put my mouse over this P&L diagram. Look at that, right there, $1,700. So let me explain this to you. Okay, everybody see my mouse is up on the chart. If JP Morgan finishes on March 29th below $117, I think it was, we make $1,700. So let's assume that JP Morgan just stays flat for the next year, but we do this tactic. We keep selling about 30 days out some upside calls. Let me do this. What's 1,700 times 12? You could, and there's a ton of hypotheticals in here, guys. I get it, but potentially just by selling upside calls each month, and would anybody like to make $1,700 a month potentially? Yeah. So selling the front month upside calls, so we make money two ways in this trade, ladies and gentlemen, potentially. We make money if what? JP Morgan goes up. Duh. We bought some deep in the money 80 delta calls. But we can also make a little scratch what? If we sell some upside calls and they finish finish below that strike. Let me get a vertical head nod. You got it, Sam. We make $1,700. Not only do you make $1,700 if JP Morgan stays, let's say it goes up to 117. It's right there. You also make what, Sam? The difference between 114 and you make $3. So I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there's 3 scenarios on how to select these upside calls. There's 3 of them. And I talked for an hour and a half last night on how to do that. I'm not going to do it right now because we are running long on time. So when you become a member, so for all the folks that got their slots already, if you have any questions about this, you have access to everything right now. Go in here and watch last night's session right here. I'm going to explain how far out of the money I picked them, what to do if JP Morgan goes up, how to manage them. I spent 1.5 hours and a couple glasses of wine relaxing and talking about this tactic. an hour and a half on this, guys. So I can't sit here and I'm not going to answer everybody's questions, man. I just can't do it. I got to get my speech ready. Mark, Wiz, as always, you're awesome. Thanks for JP Morgan Trade. Enjoy and see you tomorrow. I will, my friend. Thank you. So let me, great class you watched this morning. There you go. Harry watched it this morning. So let me grab some screenshots of this so I can at least give it to my free folks who are hanging out with us this week. You bet. Absolutely, Richard. Let me grab this. I'm going to grab a screenshot of the trade because, again, this is going to go out. I'll give the free folks access to this trade. So another good free trade for us. JP Morgan, what's today's date? 3/7. Let me go mid-market. Sorry, about mid-market right there. And now let me grab a shot of the metrics of this trade. Man, it drives me nuts, man, as an instructor not to be able to sit here. When you're a member, folks, some of these sessions we go, I will not leave a live trade brief, a member live trade brief, if anybody's got a question mark hanging over their head or a clue bird flapping on their shoulder. Okay, so this is a very, very nice looking trade. Nicholas, last night's webinar is available for replay. If you're a member, okay, tomorrow night I'm going to do some free training. Tomorrow night is free for full throttle folks that are stopping by. Last night was my last session for the folks that got on board. Not only for the folks that got on board in January. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not on this page right here. But as long as you're a member, I mean, hell, Fish, I've had people here for 4, 5, 6 years. You get free access to every time we do a full throttle. So if we do 4 of these a year, we had a lot of people in there last night. So for the rest of the time that you're a good member here in TGO, every time we do a full throttle, you can come along with the new folks. If you need to brush up on something, and it's funny, Fish, you're still in here. Every session Fish has been to for like 4 years, he says he picks up a little something new. So I charge people who aren't members $495 for access to this. If I do 4 of these a year, folks, what's that? That's $2,000 you're getting in value. Okay, so this is also why my marketing people, just about every full throttle recently, have said we're underpriced. So if you have some questions about this tactic, do me a favor and join right now, and you can answer it. So. Oh, thank you, Karen. Let me show you some of these. So there's Karen. Karen's saying, and each time you teach, it gets better. Well, yeah, and and Karen knows this, and we appreciate it too. Thank you, Diane. Is before I do a training session, we do what? We talk about real world stuff. So last night we talked about Raytheon and MGM, and we put on a long call diagonal, and we talked synthetic stock. So, Harry, you need to write your speech. Thank you, Harry. Harry's being a good wingman. I gotta sign about 50 books for these veterans, and I gotta get my speech together. Tamara, I watch everything because I learned something from each. Chris, what's the cost of the trade? Ray, would you do another JPM long call diagonal if you already have one on? Ray, no. If you have an existing trade on, I'd just be selling those front month upside calls. Okay. So. Yeah, exactly. I'll bring the trade up again. A bunch of people are asking to see the trade again. Guys, I'm going to email it out to you. And we're eating up clock here because I gotta email this out and get this to you guys before I do my trade. Exactly. Yeah, David. So think about an option. Think about a hill. Every month, think about this barrel as JP Morgan. Every month, I'm going to kind of roll these calls. And folks, even if this is what's awesome. If your buddy at a cocktail party tonight says, oh, I bought JP Morgan stock here and it's kind of flat, you can sit there and go, I'm up about, look at, who was it, Kevin? Folks, if something's flat, you can still sell some upside calls, and also what? Maybe you get into an iron condor. So I'm going to say this again. We only usually at TGO trade, do front month trades on stocks we have a Jan20 on. And as I don't know if Fred's still here, I told you I got smacked around with Tesla a little bit, and it serves me right. I wasn't bullish, well, I'm kind of bearish on it into the future, but I strayed outside my lane. And guess what? You learn. So here's what's cool about being an options trader. If you bought JP Morgan stock here, you're up maybe at $2. If you were here at TGO, look at some of our returns. We've been selling upside calls. We've been doing iron condors. We've been doing bull put spreads. We've been trading the hell out of this thing. So does that make sense? I love it, man. This is Adela. My question meaning, am I still grand for othered in? If you're a current TGO member, if you're a full throttle member here, folks, you get access to all of the stuff. But last night we had a lot of our new members from January and a lot of veterans in there. It was a very good session. So yeah, folks, like I said, Fish has been here for a while. It's funny because some of our people who were here on day one, I think our first full throttle was like $495 a year. And there are people, like I said, Diane and Karen just said, hey, when I go to these things, I actually pick up a little bit more. So full throttle ain't $495 a year anymore, folks. And we're actually thinking about a price increase for this time, and I held off. So Harry's being a good wingman, guys. I got to get my speech ready. If you're ready, we have three more sessions. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, whoever asked earlier about Amazon, tomorrow it's called Analyze Your Trade. We're going to take a look Raju, Full Throttle it's an annual membership. Okay, so Full Throttle itself is like 8 training sessions, right? But no, when you sign up right now, guys, this is for 12 months. So here's your tracks: defensive, offensive, or MAC. So the 8 training sessions takes about 4 weeks. I think we do it like every Tuesday and Thursday night for about 4 weeks. And I got to be honest with you guys. I gave you a brief. In 2 weeks, I'm heading out to Aspen to go ski with the kids for spring break. So I don't think we're not going to start our classes until about 3 weeks from now. All right, maybe when I get back from Aspen, we'll start up our next round of Full Throttle people. So Ryu, no, this is an annual membership. You get an annual membership into the services on this page. The 8 training sessions are kind of they come on top of it. Does that make sense? So there's no expiration. I mean, in a year from now, if you don't want to be a member anymore, you just don't sign up again. Does that make sense? All right, let me answer a couple more questions, and then I got to split, man. No, Harry. Well, Harry, I run TGO from this phone. I can be on the top of Aspen looking at trades. I have my broadcaster on here, so I can send out messages to you guys. It's I don't think you're going to be flying solo that whole week, but I have not taken a week off in about 8 years, and it's time for Uncle Wiz to hang out with his kids. Patrick, go do your speech. Yeah, guys, I need to get going. So again, this is a live demonstration of why we only take 50 people. Okay, Pete's in the Poconos. Wow, 12 inches. You bet, Martin. Thank you. Thanks, Wiz. Appreciate what you do. So, folks, sorry if it was a little, I had to push it up, and I get people are asking, all the new or free people are asking about trades all over the place. Become a member, and again, I don't throw testimonials up there often. I just usually show you the screenshots of what the current members are saying. So this is I can't sell it enough, folks. I'm going to try and drag you to water this week. You're seeing what we do usually, aside from me ignoring a lot of questions just for time, but you won't regret it, man. I mean, it's just, we're having a blast here. We're having fun trading this market. Like we talked about Amazon, we trade a lot of stocks that just didn't get kicked in the gut in last month, right? It's look, Amazon's even up right now. So we looked at a bull put spread yesterday that's looking good, and I still love that trade. So I'm going to run. I got to sign books. I got to do a speech. I'm going to try and get you this replay as soon as I can. And we're the phone's buzzing, so that's another person. So I guarantee you we're going to have all 50 of our Full Throttle slots gone either before Friday or on Friday. So if you want to get on board, man, now's the time to do it. Thank you, Harry. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go hang out with some veterans, and I'll take some pictures. They have a photographer and a videographer coming, so I'll post it on the TGO Facebook page. Okay. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. God bless. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see many of you all tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Analyze Your Trade. Okay, we'll see you.